Heartwarming miracle exposed. How 30 Days of Love transformed a young girl's life forever. In the quaint town of Crestwood, 12-year-old Mia stood on the brink of something extraordinary. She was a timid girl, often lost in the bustling halls of Crestwood Middle School. Whether peeking out from a dog-eared book or studying the floor, Mia felt invisible amid the confident laughter that echoed around her. Her mother, Sarah, worked 2 exhausting jobs to keep their small home running, which left Mia yearning for a connection. She spent her afternoons in silence, the rooms echoing the empty spaces in her heart as the spark of winter cloaked the town in an icy grip. But then came Mr. Thompson. A retired veteran, he knew what it meant to battle silent demons. He saw potential in Mia that even she couldn't recognize. "You have a gift, Mia," he told her, his gruff voice gentle. "The talent show is coming. You should share your voice." Each time she envisioned stepping onto that stage, fear would seize her, leaving her breathless. And just as the frost began to bite, the whispers of cruelty intensified in the school. Her classmates' snickers had sharp edges that cut deeper than winter's chill. The days dragged on until Mr. Thompson decided enough was enough. He boldly launched 30 Days of Love, a community campaign aimed not just at helping Mia, but lifting every child struggling under the weight of their troubles. The residents of Crestwood began brainstorming ways to show kindness, leaving uplifting notes in lockers, inviting Mia for family dinners, always with the hope of melting her icy shell. It was like sparks igniting around a fire that dared to bloom in the heart of winter. As the campaign unfolded, Mia's world transformed, slowly warmed by unexpected kindness. She found herself more than just a shadow in the corners. She was beginning to feel the air crackling with sympathy. She participated in a project that highlighted every student's journey, translating their challenges into shared experiences. Connections blossomed, even among those who once seemed worlds apart. Each empathetic smile moved her closer to embracing her voice. But just as the town began to heal, the night of the talent show loomed ahead. Mia stood backstage, her heart racing, hands trembling. A new fire burned in her chest. She would finally step into the light. And with each step toward the stage, her courage mounted. As she sang, her voice hung in the air, a fragile yet fierce echo of hope that painted tears in the eyes of the audience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But just as her heart soared, a malicious voice broke the spell, hurling doubt into her moment of triumph. The tension thickened in the air as past prejudices whispered from the shadows. The room trembled as the town's newfound love clashed with lingering bias, threatening to drown out the spirit of unity that had begun to flourish. As Mia faced the harsh reality that acceptance was a battle, she clung fiercely to her dream, aware that her journey was far from over. Now, with the true essence of the community hanging in the balance, Mia's bravery could define not only her destiny, but also the fate of Crestwood. As echoes of her performance hung like a weighty promise in the air, she sought a response that could reshape their world. Was love enough to conquer fear? As the last note of Mia's song faded into the air, a heavy silence enveloped the room. It was a silence thick with hesitation, an unseen tension crackling like electricity. Mia's heart pounded furiously, its rhythm echoing her doubts. Would they accept her? The warmth of the community she'd felt throughout the campaign flickered like a candle flame threatened by a draft. She scanned the audience's faces, hoping to find a glimmer of support that could hold back the storm of skepticism she sensed brewing. Then, suddenly, it happened. The first clap broke the silence, hesitant and unsure. Mia squinted into the spotlight, the brightness momentarily blinding her. To her surprise, it was Mr. Thompson, his hands coming together with a resolve that filled her with warmth. Instantly, people around him joined in, clapping with a growing intensity that echoed in her soul. It was a chorus of acceptance, and Mia's heart soared in response. Yet amid the applause, Mia heard that cruel voice again. It snickered through the crowd, breaking the sweetness of the moment. "She's just a little girl who thinks she can sing." It taunted, souring the air that had just been infused with hope. Mia felt her heart inch back under a heavy blanket of shame. The warmth from the claps began to crumble, and she stood there, flooded with confusion, tears threatening to spill over. But then, she thought of everyone who had supported her. Those notes left in her locker, the smiles of her classmates, the way her mother had beamed with pride when she practiced at home. Each memory was a lifeline, reminding her of the love that had been poured into her during those 30 days. Breathing deeply to steady herself, she gripped the microphone tighter, feeling the cool metal grounding her. This was her moment, refusing to let it slip away. "Sometimes it's a little scary to share who we really are," she said into the mic, her voice trembling but stronger than before. "But love can push through fear. Sometimes it just takes a little kindness to help someone stand up." There were whispers, glances exchanged, and nodding heads among the audience. Something was shifting, like the thaw of frost yielding to the warmth of spring. Mia pushed on. "I want to show everyone that it's okay to be different. We can all shine if we support each other." The words hung between them, threading together the hearts of all who had gathered. Slowly a ripple of applause began again, this time more unified, as if each clap stitched together the fabric of their shared experience. She watched as some who had laughed at her just moments before now began to nod along, the realization dawning that vulnerability was a strength, not a weakness. Faces softened, and amidst the sweet blend of acceptance, tears glistened in the corners of eyes that had once turned away. In the distant corner, she noticed a group of classmates whispering to each other and pointing. It stirred a fresh wave of dread within her. Were they laughing again? But then she heard their voices, and they were not mocking. They were discussing her words with genuine interest, talking about their own fears and dreams. Mia's heart felt lighter. The fear that had cloaked her began to unfurl. She was more than just a girl who sang. She was a voice for others who had felt alone, a beacon of hope lighting the path to togetherness. As the talent show ended with a burst of celebration, Mia's voice rang with newfound resonance, soft yet firm, echoing the collective journey of Crestwood. But in the back of her mind, a tension still simmered. Would they be able to sustain this unity and kindness as the world around them swirled with its complexities? It was a question that lingered long after the applause faded. Gathered in the halls of the school the next day, she would find out just how powerful a ripple of love could be. Would her bravery inspire more kindness, or would it break under the weight of fear once again? Mia's heart quickened. She took a deep breath, ready to face whatever came next. The real test of love and acceptance was just beginning. The following morning, the halls of Crestwood Middle School buzzed with an electricity that was palpable. Mia walked through the doors, heart thrumming in her chest. She was greeted by whispers, hushed giggles, and the sight of familiar faces, some of whom had once looked down on her. Yet today felt different. There was a spring in their step, and their eyes danced with curiosity rather than scorn. As she approached her locker, a small group of classmates stood nearby. Mia's breath hitched. They were the same girls who had snickered during her performance, those who had once shied away from her during lunch. But now they were animatedly chatting, glancing her way with cautious smiles. "Hey, Mia," one of them called out, her voice bright. "That was really brave of you last night. Your song, it really made me think." Mia felt warmth seep into her, the kind of warmth that wrapped around you on a chilly day. "Thanks," she managed to say. The words felt small but hung heavy with meaning. They exchanged stories that morning, each recounting their own struggles and worries. Mia listened intently as they opened up about not fitting in, about feeling alone in their own ways. To hear them share their fears reminded her of her own vulnerability on stage, and she could feel her spirit lifting with each shared confession. Moving on, Mia found her friend Sam waiting for her at their usual hangout spot near the art room. His face was practically glowing. "You were amazing last night," he exclaimed, giving her a high five. "Did you see how everyone responded? It's like you unlocked something in them." "I know," Mia said, her voice catching. "It felt like we all came together, even just for that moment." But as they shared thoughts and laughter, Mia couldn't ignore a shadow that lurked in the back of her mind. What if that moment faded? What if they all went back to their old ways the moment the excitement waned? Still, the energy of the morning pushed her fears aside, if only for a while. As they finished their lunch, Mia was caught off guard when she spotted Jessica, one of the girls who used to mock her the most, walking tentatively toward their group. Her heart raced. Was this the moment of reckoning or another blade of ridicule? Mia exchanged looks with Sam, who merely nodded encouragingly. "Hey," Jessica said, her voice softer than Mia expected. "I wanted to apologize for the stuff I said during your performance. I didn't think about how much courage it took for you. I'm sorry." Mia blinked in surprise. The apology hung in the air, delicate and heavy. What did she say back? Did she want to accept it, or let her anger at past hurts cloud this new light? Taking a breath, she recalled her own words from the night before. The power of kindness. "Thank you, Jessica, that means a lot." As they talked, a small group began to gather around them, drawn by the shift in energy. Conversations blossomed. Laughter rang out, and shared anecdotes filled the space as a community started to form around vulnerability and acceptance. Yet beneath the joy, Mia felt an undercurrent of unease. Would this unity hold, or would it slip away like the last notes of her song? The potential for newfound friendships was a thrilling flame, but she knew the dangers of that flame being extinguished once more. Later that afternoon, Mia made her way to the music room. She needed a moment of solitude to process everything that had happened. As she strummed her guitar, planning to write a new song about their journey, the door creaked open. It was one of the teachers, Mr. Thompson, who had shown her unexpected support. He stepped in with a soft smile. "Mia," he began, a glimmer in his eye, "I think we might want to talk. There's something amazing happening at this school, and I believe you're at the heart of it." Curiosity gripped Mia. What could he mean? She paused, poised on the edge of revelation, wondering if her moment of truth was yet to come. Would she be able to lead her classmates toward lasting change? The weight of expectation pressed on her, and for the first time, she felt the thrill of responsibility bloom within her. Growing silence around the door, its hinges creaking ever so slightly, hinted that they weren't the only ones interested in the change. She braced herself. What did he want to discuss? What additional challenges awaited her? This journey of love and acceptance may have just taken a turn she hadn't anticipated. Mr. Thompson stepped further into the room, the door swinging shut behind him. He placed a hand on the music stand, leaning in slightly, his eyes sharp with intent. "Mia, I believe that the performance you gave last night was more than just a showcase of talent. You stirred something profound in your classmates. It felt like a release." Mia felt her heart race. "Release?" she echoed, her brow furrowed. "Yes," he continued. "In a way you helped them confront their own struggles, their own voices. But this unity is fragile. It needs guidance." Mia's breath caught in her throat as the realization took hold. She was standing at the precipice of something monumental, yet filled with uncertainty. "What do you mean? How can I guide them?" He paused for a moment, letting the weight of his words sink in. "You've already started. The way you opened up on stage gave others the courage to share. I think we can create a space where everyone feels safe enough to express themselves." His voice was encouraging, filled with possibility. "A club," she suggested hesitantly, feeling a flicker of hope ignite within her. "Exactly. A club focused on music, art, and support, where students can share their talents, their fears, and their victories. We can work together to foster a community centered around kindness and creativity," he said, excitement bubbling in his tone. Mia clutched her guitar tighter, imagining the room filling with laughter and song. But in an instant, the fear whispered at the edges of her mind. What if it fails? What if they don't want to join? Mr. Thompson seemed to sense her hesitation. "Change doesn't happen overnight. It requires courage and effort, Mia. But you've already sparked something important. If anyone can lead this, it's you." The weight of his belief settled over her, both thrilling and terrifying. Her heart hammered. What if I'm not enough? What if they don't listen? "You won't know unless you try," he said softly. "And remember, it's okay to be scared. That's part of growth." His words echoed in her mind, a reminder of all the times she had felt inadequate, but still found the courage to step onto the stage. Breathless with possibility, she could see a vision emerge, a bright and welcoming space where students gathered, supporting each other through the symphony of their lives. "Okay," she said, and the word came out stronger than she expected. "Let's do it." "What's next?" Mr. Thompson asked, smiling warmly. "First I need to talk to Sam," Mia replied, a rush of determination flooding her. A plan began to spread in her mind like the first rays of sunrise after a long night. They would need to brainstorm, rally support, and create a shout-out for the first meeting. And yet, just as optimism started to take root, a new worry emerged. What if rumors swirled again? Would her classmates welcome this new initiative, or would old fears and insecurities rise to the surface? As she gathered her things and made her way back into the bustling hallways of Crestwood, Mia felt the weight of those questions pressing down. But beneath them, hope still flickered. Gather the courage. Make the change. The sound of laughter and chatter enveloped her, mingling with her thoughts. With renewed purpose, she spotted Sam by his locker and rushed over, her heart racing with a mixture of excitement and fear. "Sam, I need to tell you about something huge. We have a chance to change everything." But even as she spoke, uncertainty gnawed at her. Would this really bring them together, or would it shatter the fragile bonds they had just begun to form? The moment of truth loomed ahead, promising the potential for transformation or heartache. Would she find the strength to lead them towards something bright, or would she be left standing alone again? "Slow down, Mia," Sam laughed, slightly taken aback by her enthusiasm. His brown hair bobbed as he turned to fully face her. "What's this all about?" Mia took a breath, feeling the growing confidence bubbling inside her. "Remember my performance last night? Well, Mr. Thompson thinks we can do something more, like create a club, a space for everyone to express themselves through music, art, and just sharing what we're going through." Sam raised an eyebrow, his expression shifting from playful curiosity to genuine interest. "That sounds incredible, but how would we start something like that?" Mia wasted no time. "We gather friends, make some flyers, and promote it. We can have talent showcases, open mics, and supportive discussions. It's like creating our little family right here at school." He stared at her, catching her infectious excitement. "Wow, Mia, that sounds pretty cool, but do you think people would actually want to join?" Panic flickered in her chest. Would they? She bit her lip, looking down. "I hope so. But what if we can't get anyone to show up? What if they don't care?" "Mia, you can't think like that." Sam stepped closer, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You've already touched people. The way you performed, it was raw and real. I'm sure there are others like you who need a place to belong." Her heart swelled at his words, warmth flooding through her. "You really think so?" "Absolutely. You've got this amazing energy, plus you've got me on your team." He grinned, and she couldn't help but smile back. Just then, a group of classmates passed by, glancing over curiously. The laughter and chatter of the hall faded into a hush as Mia felt their eyes on her. Anxiety gripped her, but she pushed it away, drawing from Sam's confidence. "We need to make some noise about this. Let's go for it," he exclaimed, raising his hand for a high five. The connection sparked a sense of camaraderie that crossed the threshold into something more. They exchanged determined nods, and Mia could feel the moment solidifying into action. As they brainstormed flyer ideas and useful quotes, Mia's nerves shifted to excitement. They could do this. They could help people find their voices, be seen, be heard. A vision of students weaving music and laughter filled her mind like vibrant colors on a canvas. Yet in the back of her mind, those nagging fears never truly faded. With every idea they jotted down, another what-if loomed. What if someone wanted to sabotage it? What if the negativity returned? Mia couldn't shake the thought. Would past judgments resurface when they least expected it? Would someone spin their efforts into mockery? Sam seemed to sense the shift in her demeanor. "Mia, when we put ourselves out there, some people might not understand it or even appreciate it. But that's their problem. Look at you. You were scared to share your music, but you did anyway. You got up on that stage and conquered. You're making a difference." As his words washed over her, Mia felt a little more empowered. I guess you're right. I just need to keep believing in this. In us. Exactly, he encouraged. So, now we need to come up with a name for the club. Something fun and inviting, right? Mia's mind raced with possibilities. Just as an idea began to form, the distant sound of rushing footsteps jolted her back to the present. What if we call it Voices United? It's about coming together, being ourselves, and lifting each other up, she suggested, a spark lighting within her. Voices United. I love it, Sam exclaimed, his enthusiasm infectious. But as they exchanged ideas, a subtle tension hung in the air. A shadow crept in at the corners. Would they really be united? Or would this initiative serve as a spotlight, inviting both support and scrutiny alike? Determined to rise above, Mia took a deep breath and pressed onward. The first meeting would take place soon, and the thought excited her, yet left behind a lingering question. Would they rise together, or would they fall apart before they even had the chance to begin? The day arrived for Mia's first meeting of Voices United. With her heart pounding and palms sweaty, she paced back and forth in front of the auditorium. The giant glass doors loomed before her like an entrance to a new world. Kids streamed by, heads down, lost in conversations and digital screens, oblivious to her internal struggle. Okay, just breathe, she whispered to herself. Sam, perched on the edge of the stage, noticed her unease. He flashed a wide grin, clearly excited. Mia, it's going to be amazing. Look, we already have a few people here. She looked past him, scanning the room. A handful of familiar faces from her last performance trickled in, along with a few new ones, their curious expressions offering a mix of hope and uncertainty. Let's do this, she said, rolling her shoulders back and steeling her nerves. As the clock hit 6, she took a deep breath and stepped in front of the group. Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. Her voice wavered, but she pushed through. I'm Mia, and this is our space. She gestured around the auditorium, feeling a warmth rise in her chest. Voices United is all about sharing who we are through music, art and conversation. It's a place to lift each other up. The words tumbled from her lips, each one finding an anchor in her heart. Silence hung momentarily, stretching her nerves thin. Then one girl in the back, a sophomore who had once shared poetry at a school talent show, spoke up. So, it's like a safe zone, where we can just be ourselves. Exactly. Like no judgment, just support, Mia responded, her voice gaining strength. A few more nods bounced around the room, and Mia felt a wave of relief wash over her. Maybe this was truly happening. Sam chimed in. We're planning talent showcases and discussion nights where everyone can share their experiences. It's about finding a community, you know. It's not just about performing, it's about connecting. Murmurs of agreement filled the air, and Mia could feel the mood lifting. With each moment, barriers began to lower, and a warmth spread among the group. Yet just as she started to feel buoyed by the atmosphere, the doors swung open with a loud creak. A few older students strolled in, their eyes scanning the room with dismissive smirks. Mia's heart sank. It was Alex, a notorious provocateur, known for his sharp tongue and quick ridicule. What's this? A bunch of wannabe artists? He snickered, leaning against the wall. Murmurs of discomfort rippled through the group. Mia's cheeks flushed hot, uncertainty creeping back like an unwelcome shadow. But Sam stood firm, his expression fierce. Alex, this is a place for support, not negativity. If you're not interested in what we have to say, please leave. Mia's heart raced as she watched the exchange. Would Alex push them apart? Would this moment define their fragile beginnings? The tension thickened, heads turned away, and the room felt suffocating. But then something unexpected happened. The girl who had mentioned the safe zone stepped forward, her voice steady. We're here to uplift each other, not tear anyone down. If you can't respect that, you should walk out. A ripple of encouragement surged through the group. More voices joined in, echoing her sentiment, asserting their right to create a safe space. Mia felt an unexpected wave of courage wash over her, fueled by their unity. We're here for each other. We're not going to let negativity in. This is our space. Their collective resolve resonated in every corner of the room. Alex's expression shifted from amusement to confusion, and after a tense pause he turned and sauntered away. The moment hung in the air, a fragile victory. Cheers broke out, and Mia felt tears prickle at the corners of her eyes. They had stood up together. They had defended their dream. The meeting flowed into discussions and ideas, laughter breaking through the earlier tension. In that space, Mia could see the potential blooming. But just as she let herself relax, she noticed a familiar face lurking outside the doors, one she hadn't expected to see. It was her old friend Jenna, looking both hesitant and curious. Would she join them, or would her presence ignite old memories? The next chapter was unfolding, and Mia felt a mix of anticipation and dread. How would the past influence their future? Mia's heartbeat quickened as Jenna stepped hesitantly through the doors. Her old friend's long curly hair shone under the auditorium lights, but Mia barely recognized the girl she once knew. Jenna had always seemed so confident, always laughing and talking a mile a minute. Now her gaze flickered nervously around the room, uncertain where to land. "Mia!" Jenna's voice was small, almost drowned out by the excited chatter of the group. "Jenna!" Mia quickly jogged over, an odd mix of joy and worry bubbling inside her. Would their reunion bring back the laughter and warmth of their shared past, or would it drag up old heartaches best left buried? "I, heard about what you're doing here," Jenna said, her fingers fidgeting with the ends of her sweater. "I didn't mean to interrupt." "You're not interrupting, you're just in time. We're building something special, a community," Mia replied, her smile genuine. She remembered all those nights they'd spent singing together, dreaming of bigger things beyond their small town. But something in Jenna's eyes wasn't quite right. Doubts danced across her face as if she was weighing the risk of stepping back into this world after everything that had happened. "I don't know if I belong here anymore," Jenna admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The vulnerability in her tone pierced through Mia's heart. "Yes, you do. You've always belonged," Mia insisted, moving a step closer. "You were part of us before. Everything. This can be a fresh start." Jenna glanced at the group. A diverse mix of kids, all uniquely talented and imperfect, were immersed in conversation, laughing and building connections. But would they accept her? Before Mia could ask, Sam approached, sensing the tension. "Hey, you must be Jenna. I've heard so much about you," he said with a welcoming smile. "We'd love for you to join us." Jenna hesitated, and Mia held her breath. Would this be the moment where the walls broke down? The girl from before, who had asserted their right to a safe space, chimed in again. "We're all just trying to find our voices here, Jenna. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are." A flicker of hope sparked in Jenna's eyes. "Really? You guys wouldn't mind?" "No way. The more the merrier," Sam replied enthusiastically, grinning as he stepped aside to make room for her in the circle forming around the stage. Mia felt her heart swell. This was it, the moment they could rebuild, bring all those beautiful memories rushing back. "Come on," Mia urged, extending her hand. "Let's do this together." Jenna took a tentative step forward. It felt monumental as she grasped Mia's hand. Slowly she moved toward the group. Hesitation lingered, but bravery flickered in her smile as she settled in. The atmosphere shifted. Laughter bubbled up as everyone welcomed Jenna. They shared stories, and as the minutes rolled on, Mia found herself drawn into the warmth of the moment. Jenna was asking questions, sharing memories of their past songs, and as each word left her mouth, a bit of that old magic returned. Then, just as the air had thickened with joy, a familiar tension twisted back in. A low voice pierced the laughter. "So, how long until you quit this pathetic club?" It was Alex again, lurking near the edge, arms crossed defiantly. Mia's stomach dropped. This wasn't the moment she had wanted. Not today. "Just ignore him," Jenna whispered, her confidence thinning. But Mia's determination flared. She could feel the strength of not just herself but everyone around her, courage like a shield. "No, Alex, this is not your space. It's ours." The group rallied behind her, echoing a chorus of support. "Yeah, go away!" In that moment, camaraderie surged. Jenna stood taller, a spark igniting in her eyes. But Alex didn't leave. He stepped further into the light, a self-satisfied grin spreading across his face. "You think this can last? You're all just a bunch of kids playing pretend." Mia's heart raced. Did he really believe he could tear them apart with just words? She exchanged looks with Jenna and Sam, and it felt like they were grounding one another against the storm. Was this what they were really building? A fragile dream threatened by one person's doubt. The air below her felt electric. Mia took a deep breath, ready to confront the storm. "We're more than just kids. We're voices that deserve to be heard, and we're not going anywhere." Would that be enough to silence the negativity? As the room waited, it felt like everything hung in the balance. Past wounds, present friendships, and the future of voices united. And in that silence, Mia felt it, something shifting. What would it take to solidify their unity, to rise above the hate? The next moment could change everything. Would they find the strength to show Alex just how powerful they had become? Jenna's breath hitched at Mia's fierce declaration. The energy in the room swirled, caught between hope and anxiety. Mia could feel the weight of every set of eyes on them, a collective pause as they anticipated Alex's response. "You don't get it," Alex sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "You think this little group can change anything? You're all just looking for a place to belong, and this isn't it." Mia clenched her fists at her side, the urge to defend their dreams roaring inside her. She was not just fighting for her own heart, but for Jenna's, for every kid in that room searching for acceptance. "Why are you so afraid of us?" Mia shot back, her throat tight. "What's so scary about kids wanting to lift each other up?" The room murmured with discontent, building a wall against Alex's taunts. Sam stepped in beside Mia, his presence solid and reassuring. "You think we're playing pretend? I see real talent here, real passion. Maybe you can't handle that." Alex's scoff echoed ominously, but something in the way he shifted his weight, almost as if he were considering their words, gave Mia pause. Behind the bravado was their fear, a flicker of vulnerability buried in his bravado. Jenna stood straighter now, emboldened by Mia's challenge. "We're not scared of your judgment. We've been through too much to let someone like you shut us down. We're here for each other, no matter what." The support bubbled in the room like a protective shield wrapping around them. Laughter, the underlying spark of their safe space, began to bubble back to the surface, slowly drowning out Alex's scorn. "Yeah, you're just jealous, you're not part of it," shouted one of the younger girls from the back, her enthusiasm infectious. Mia smiled, her heart beating with renewed strength. This wasn't just about standing against Alex. It was about acknowledging the community they were building. Each one of them was a piece of a greater puzzle. Alex's demeanor shifted, his expression darkening. "You'll regret this, just wait." As he turned to leave, the collective sigh of relief swept through the group. Jenna's eyes shimmered, a mixture of disbelief and gratitude. "I didn't think I'd ever stand up to him." Mia squeezed her hand, feeling their connection solidify. "That's the power of voices uniting. Trust me, we're just getting started." The laughter returned, lighter now, more vibrant. They began to share new ideas, bouncing around suggestions for their first performance. As Mia gathered the group in a circle, sharing plans for a backyard concert, an electric thrill surged through her. But before they could dive into excitement, Mia caught a glimpse of Alex lingering outside the auditorium, staring at them through the glass. His expression was unreadable. Did he see their joy and feel threatened? Or was he finally understanding that they'd found something he didn't have? "What if he comes back?" Jenna asked, glancing nervously toward the door. Mia shook her head. "Let him try. We're ready this time." The group erupted with enthusiasm, celebrating little victories. The tight-knit bond they had forged together forged a sense of protection. But in the back of her mind, Mia couldn't shake the feeling. Had they truly seen the last of Alex, or was this just the calm before the storm? As they formed a pact to plan their concert, Mia felt the faintest tremor of uncertainty. Was the connection strong enough to withstand any upcoming challenges? Would they be able to embrace whatever storm might come their way, regardless of Alex or anyone else? Days turned into a blur of excitement and fear. Every laugh shared over melodies blended with the underlying tension of potential conflict. And somewhere in the midst of their joyful preparations, a crucial decision lay ahead. Could they open their hearts wide enough to face every fear and invite even Alex into the chorus? As rehearsals began and energy soared, Mia knew one thing was certain. The next chapter of their journey was just around the corner, and the echoes of their voices would soon demand to be heard. But would they have the courage to keep singing no matter what? The days leading up to the concert felt like a whirlwind. Mia could hardly keep up with the excitement buzzing around the group. They gathered every afternoon after school in Jenna's backyard, their safe haven filled with laughter and music. It was a world away from the harshness of Alex's words, yet the shadow of his lingering presence was hard to shake off. Mia strummed her guitar softly as she watched Jenna direct the others. The way Jenna commanded attention now was a testament to her newfound confidence. Each note they played was more than just practice. It was a symbol of their shared determination. They sang their hearts out, pouring everything they had into the melodies, stitching the threads of their dreams together. But as the concert date approached, unease curled in Mia's stomach. What if Alex returned? What if he had a plan to sabotage everything they had worked so hard to build? Every giggle from the group was shadowed by those thoughts, and she felt the weight of expectation press down on her more than ever. "We should make a banner for the show," one of the younger kids suggested, bringing everyone back into the moment. "Great idea," Mia said, trying to catch the spark of excitement again. "Let's paint something bright and fun that shows who we are." With that, laughter erupted once more. The kids sprinted to fetch supplies, returning with paint, brushes, and an abundance of color. Mia joined in, her heart swelling as she watched them. This was the moment she had envisioned, a community, a family forged in creativity and acceptance. Yet as they painted, Mia couldn't shake the sense of foreboding. Whenever she heard a rustle in the bushes or a shadow crossing the yard, her heart raced. Would Alex really come back and ruin their celebration, or was it just her growing paranoia? That night, as she lay in bed, Mia stared at the ceiling, replaying the day's events. She had to believe in the strength they had together. They were not alone. They'd faced Alex once before, and won. They could do it again. With resolve, she closed her eyes, painting a picture of how the concert would go, how every note would reverberate with the love and friendship they had built. The day of the concert dawned bright and sunny. Mia arrived early to help set up and felt her nerves bubbling up again as the crowd began to gather. Parents, friends, and a few teachers came to see the show. It felt surreal. Their dreams were on the verge of becoming a reality. "Look at all of them," Jenna exclaimed, her eyes wide as she took in the crowd. "I can't believe so many people want to see us." As Mia scanned the faces, her heart swelled with pride. Yet she noticed someone at the edge of the gathering. Alex stood leaning against a tree, arms crossed, his familiar smirk plastered across his face. Fear danced in the pit of her stomach. "Jenna," she whispered, her voice unsteady. "Alex is here." Jenna turned, her expression shifting from excitement to uncertainty. "Do you think he'll try something?" "I don't know, but we have to be ready. We've worked too hard to let him ruin this." Before Jenna could respond, the music began to play, filling the air with hopeful notes. The crowd quieted, all eyes on the stage. Mia and the others took a deep breath and stepped into the spotlight. As she looked out at their faces, she felt the surge of unity. No more hiding, no more fears. They would sing for each other, for their dreams, and maybe even for Alex. As they opened their mouths to sing, Mia hoped that no matter what happened next, their voices would drown out any doubt. But in the back of her mind, one question remained. Would Alex's reaction fuel their performance, or threaten to extinguish the flames they had sparked? In the heart of Crestwood, the afternoon sun bathed the backyard in a warm glow. Mia stood at the edge of the stage, gripping the microphone, surrounded by her friends. Their laughter rippled through the crowd, a tapestry woven from weeks of shared vulnerabilities and dreams. Everyone was here, their families, classmates, and even teachers. A wave of support washed over Mia, but her gaze kept drifting back to Alex lurking at the edge. With every beat of the drum, a drumbeat of anticipation echoed in Mia's heart. She exchanged a reassuring glance with Jenna, who stood at her side, visibly excited, but secretly anxious. They both knew the stakes. As they opened with their first song, Mia felt a release. The voices blended in harmony, their fears melting into the music. Each note filled the air like a sweet summer breeze, lifting spirits and scattering doubts. Laughter flowed, and the audience swayed, lost in the moment. But Alex remained there, his scowl juxtaposed sharply against their joy. "They think they're so special," Mia imagined him sneering, his presence like a grey cloud on their bright day. She shook off the thought, pouring herself further into the melody. As the last note faded, cheers erupted and Mia felt a surge of confidence wash over her. They were doing this together, truly together. "Let's introduce our next piece," Jenna called out, her voice resonating with enthusiasm. "This one's for everyone who ever felt out of place." The crowd erupted into applause, and Mia could see nods of recognition spreading through familiar faces. Yet, just as the next song began, a sharp voice cut through the warmth. "Come on. Can't you all see this is just embarrassing?" Alex scoffed, what seemed to be laughter from a few of his followers bubbling to the surface behind him. The laughter felt like a crack in their unity. Mia faltered for a moment, her heart sinking into a pit of uncertainty as the crowd shifted uncomfortably. Would she let one voice break their moment? "Let's keep going," Sam chimed in, his enthusiasm cutting through the tension. "We're here to lift each other up." Mia locked eyes with him and Jenna, a flicker of defiance igniting within her. "You know what?" she said into the mic, her voice steadying. "This is our moment. This song is about finding strength even when uncertainty surrounds us." She took a deep breath and shot a glance toward Alex, who had crossed his arms, watching with narrowed eyes. Ignoring him, she leaned into the music. They began to sing, a chorus of shared experiences rising against doubt. With every note, the crowd began to sway again, caught up in the beauty of their message. They were all part of something bigger, bound by the realization of their worth and the connection they had forged. Mia's voice soared higher, rallying everyone, even Jamie's, who had once mocked her and now clapped along, caught up in the moment. Just as they wrapped up, Mia caught sight of Alex again, but this time, instead of hostility, he seemed lost in thought. Was he beginning to understand? When the final note lingered and silence fell, Mia stood frozen for a brief second. "Thank you all for being here," she exclaimed into the applause. "More than anything, remember that kindness is powerful. Together we can rise." And just like that, the crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of acceptance surging through the air. But the applause was punctuated by something else. A murmur swept through the audience as Alex pushed away from the tree, stepping forward. Mia held her breath as he called out, "You know what? Maybe I was wrong. Maybe you guys are doing something good." Murmurs of surprise echoed around her, and for the first time, a crack appeared in Alex's facade. The crowd responded with shouts of encouragement. "This is not just a moment for you, Alex," Jenna shouted, her voice ringing with power. "We'd love to have you join us. Everyone deserves a space to belong." Mia felt her heart race, a mixture of fear and hope fluttering within her. Would he really step into this world, or was this another ploy? After a few heartbeats that felt like an eternity, Alex shrugged and stepped closer to Jenna and Mia. "I get it. We all have our stuff to deal with. I'm sorry," he said, his voice no longer taunting. The tension hung lightly in the air as the audience processed his words, uncertain but curious. Mia stepped forward cautiously. "You don't have to be perfect. Just be you." Slowly the crowd responded with applause, but this time a different kind of applause. Not just for the performance, but for the bravery it took to confront fears and insecurities. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, casting a golden light, Mia's heart swelled. It felt almost surreal, the laughter, the voices, the unity promising support. Maybe this was a moment of true change, the path forward paved with acceptance. "Let's celebrate this together," Mia said, her voice rising above the noise. "This is just the beginning. We can keep this going." And at that moment, a collective cheer split the air, lasting well into the twilight. The hope in their hearts burned brightly, fueled by the promise that this little community could indeed stand up to anything together. With smiles that lit up the evening sky, they packed up the stage and felt like champions against the shadows, that once threatened to consume them. They had transformed fear into courage and doubt into unwavering belief, one song at a time. As they walked home under a blanket of stars, a newfound unity brought warmth to the cool night air, a reminder that love, once ignited, can light the way forward, no matter the obstacles ahead. And as the night blossomed with peace, Mia knew deep down they would never face another challenge alone. Now can you feel the power of a community standing tall? This is your call. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. True fans understand the importance of uplifting our community.